He's a right-wing journalist. Just ignore it. Ignorance. Ignorance.
Hi YouTube, my name is Alad, and today we're out here in New York City watching the Abolish ICE demonstrators demonstrating against Salesforce, Amazon, Microsoft. They're saying that ICE has government contracts with these companies that is unethically catching these illegal immigrants that have committed crimes. So let's go ask some people some questions. So why are you guys out here demonstrating today?
We're out here because we want these companies to stop building technology for ICE, which allows the ICE to kidnap our family members and loved ones.
What about the people who would say that ICE is using this technology to catch criminals, people who have broken the laws, people who have committed felonies, and this is just another way to catch criminals?
Statistic after statistic shows that immigrants are less likely to commit crimes. They're less likely to be they're less likely to commit violent crimes. And ICE is actually not catching mostly immigrants. And I ask you, in a country where 1 out of 9 people have contact with police ending in a fine or arrest, is it really all criminals that are being caught? I don't think so, and I'm not going to entertain that argument because it's completely false. Thank you.
So is that all? Thank you for your time. I guess they don't want to talk to me anymore. Come on.
Yeah, I know your face. You have like almost like 60 or 70 followers on Twitter.
Okay.
You're just harassing these poor people, right?
I don't think I'm harassing them. I think I'm just asking people questions. Do you want me to show you how I'm just asking people questions?
Yeah, I watched you.
Okay, so why are you out here demonstrating?
We disagree with our country's immigration policy.
Okay, do you want to be more specific? What immigration policies do you disagree with?
Well, we think that the harsh separation of children and parents is inhumane.
Well, here's the question. I think the whole situation is people being stuck between a rock and a hard place because people are illegally crossing the borders, and then we need to detain them, elsewise they'll just run away. So that's a situation where parents are separated from their children, and it's obviously a difficult situation, but the same thing happens when somebody is a parent in America and commits a crime. So we still separate them. We don't separate them from their children?
Only if it's a felony, you idiot. I mean, this is a misdemeanor to cross the border, and if you're a refugee, you're actually allowed to cross the border, apply for refugee status. You're not supposed to be separated.
Well, these people apply for asylum after they get caught. And the thing is, if we let these people go out on bond, they're not going to come back to court. Do you think they're going to come back to court?
We have an immigration system that allows people to safely apply for asylum and not go through the desert.
We do. We just limit the amount of people that we let in.
Like you're asking questions. It sounds like you're just yelling at me. So why don't you go fuck yourself?
All right, thank you.
Asking questions.
I was just asking questions. You could defend your position.
No, but you're just yelling at him. No, he's trying to answer your questions. You're yelling at him.
Trying to find out what we're actually about.
And honestly, earlier,
I just was.
yelling at a child before. That's kind of
Which child? Because I have it all on film.
child. 100 people here.
Did they agree to talk to me? Did I ask if I could talk to them, and then they agreed to talk to me, and then it was
I just feel like
okay.
has the nerve to come in here and start harassing children.
I'm not harassing children. I'm being an independent journalist, and I'm being a part of the political process, just like you could be a part of the political process. So don't come shaming me for what I'm doing. I'm reporting on what's going on here. You guys are blocking entrances to stores.
Again, you're yelling.
Is this me yelling? I mean, it sounds like you're yelling at me.
You just yelled 5 seconds ago. So if you're
All right, you know what? I'm not yelling. I was asking questions. I have a loud voice. If you want to continue talking, you don't have to walk around in a circle over here and we can have a conversation because you keep walking away. Do you want to talk or not?
So ask me an intelligent question.
Okay. So I have a few concerns about Abolish ICE and open border policy.
Asking questions. You're telling me what your position is. I don't care.
Well, I'm prefacing the question. Are you worried about open borders? You know, better yet, what do you think about open borders?
We need a safe and humane immigration policy, and that's not what we have now.
Okay, so do you have any suggestions for how we can make it better?
We could have a system whereby people can apply for asylum without going through the desert. We can have a system that eliminates dangerous situations where people go through areas that are not safe. If people come in and apply for asylum, they can be held with their kids until we figure out if they qualify for asylum or not. We shouldn't be separating them, period.
A lot of people would say that we already have a system set up where we just limit the amount of legal immigration. If you ask any person south of the border, they're going to say they want to come to America. And we can't just let everybody into America. Or again, Bernie Sanders said open borders are a Koch brothers conspiracy. They lower wages if we just let everybody into the country, and our economy couldn't handle it. So that's why I'm nervous about protesters like you demonstrating on platforms like this.
I didn't say we needed open borders. I said we need a safe and humane immigration policy. I think we should increase immigration quite a bit, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what you guys, I think, would be a better message than, abolish ICE. Because I think a lot of conservatives and Republicans, and even a lot of Democrats are seeing this and going, wow, this is really extreme. Because let's not forget, it was only 2 decades ago when Bill Clinton, he ran on building a wall. He used to brag about deporting so many people. So I just wanted to see the dissonance between where the left used to be and where you guys are now.
I'm not a fan of Clinton.
Okay.
Or Obama, really.
Okay, so you're completely, so can I ask you who's the last person you voted for?
I mean, I vote strategically. I'm somewhat to the left of Bernie, but I think in terms of immigration, all these guys are terrible.
So why are you guys out here today?
To express our thoughts. We think that we definitely need ICE, and we need law enforcement.
So what about the people who say ICE is acting in unethical ways? They saying that they're locking up some kids, separating from their parents. What do you say about critics?
We don't know if they're coming 100% with their parents. Some of them are coming over with sex traffickers. Are we going to leave them with them? We have to find out what's going on.
Okay. And what do you think about the government using, because they're over here protesting Amazon's web services that ICE uses, things like facial recognition technology. What do you think about that stuff?
That happens all the time. This isn't the first time a government agency is using private businesses. But they're picking it out now because of the president. It's not the first.
Is there anything else you want to talk to me about?
No, that's it for today.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
He's a right-wing journalist. Just ignore it. Ignorance. Ignoramus.
Can I ask you questions and prove that I'm not just some right-wing loon like they're telling me? Okay, so why are you out here demonstrating today?
Well, I see that, I'm on the clock right now, so I see what they're protesting, and, there is a part of me that, I agree with definitely a lot of what's going on here. I think that it's funny that Big Tech is trying to play both sides of the fence here.
So let me ask, a lot of people here are also advocating to abolish ICE. Are you also looking to abolish ICE? Because I see with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that's kind of been the new face and the new running slogan for the Democrats. Well, what do you think about abolishing ICE and that being the Democrats' new strategy?
As far as ICE, that was kind of more of like a newer thing that came along with kind of the war on terror and the whole 9/11 thing.
I'm surprised you knew that because I talked to somebody about that earlier and they didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, ICE was created after 9/11.
Yeah, so with that, that's kind of, I'm kind of against police state type stuff like that. But I do think that at some degree, there needs to be some kind of way to, tell who and who isn't coming in, because I come from a family of immigrants.
As do I. So.
My entire family came here in the 20th century, and they went through a lot of rigorous tests to come through. And I'm not against certain levels of vetting, but I am against the sentiment that people who want to come here and work hard and try to make a living are the reason why the country and the jobs are going away. I think that is a tactic that a lot of politicians use to deflect from the fact that these mega corporations are stealing the jobs and they're bringing them overseas, or they're purposely doing things to circumvent paying people a living wage. And I do sympathize with the ideals that progressive and socialists have of paying people living wages. I sympathize with that. I'm not 110% sure that is exactly the right way of going about it, but I do think that we got to figure out some kind of way to have people have living wages, because these big tech companies, as we can see in Oakland, my friend, he moved out to Oakland, and there's a lot of working homeless people out there, and it's these big tech companies that have raised the rent of so many places, and I could tell that they're trying to do that here also.
I wanted to ask you today, why are you out here demonstrating, or counter-demonstrating rather?
I'm out here counter-demonstrating because I believe in America and I believe in the rights of American citizens.
Thank you, ICE! Thank you, ICE! Thank you, ICE!
Yes, they're chanting. But yes, I support ICE. I support the president's immigration policies. I am the grandson of immigrants. My name is Edward X. Young. All of my grandparents came into this country in the early 20th century from Lithuania, Poland, Prussia, and Hungary. And they came through Ellis Island. They came through here legally. They worked hard to become citizens. My grandfather, Patrick Pius Yauk, became a citizen as a young man, and to show his love for the country, he enlisted in the Marines to fight in World War I. Oh my God, that's
Anyway, that's
Yes.
So let me ask you. A lot of people are saying ICE is unethical with how they're handling different immigrants, with separating families, sometimes deporting people for lesser crimes. What do you think about the critics who say that?
Isn't it interesting how ICE is only doing what they were doing for 8 years under Obama, and even before that under George Bush? Interesting how nobody thought it was inhuman or objected until Donald Trump became president. Total hypocrisy.
I mean, you're right about that, but that doesn't stray away from the issue still being unethical. Because just because Obama was unethical doesn't mean Trump should have the right to be unethical too, right?
I don't believe it's unethical. Everybody that enters this country illegally has committed a crime. Now you look at American citizens. If American citizens, what you're saying, if say a criminal couple, say they're crack and meth dealers, but say they've got a couple of little kids at home, should the law say, oh, we can't send these people to prison because they've got children? Oh, how about a serial killer? Like John Wayne Gacy had 3 kids. So maybe he strangled 33 young men. But he's got children. We can't separate the children from their father. It's an absurd, it's a logically absurd argument. And furthermore, Donald Trump isn't separating the families anymore. I mean, they get here illegally, they keep the families together. They either stay or get deported together. We're not separating them. Well, I don't get this nonsense. And it's not unethical. I mean, you bring a kid into this country and you commit a crime. Well, if you're going to get arrested, what are you going to do with the kid? You're not going to put the kid in prison.
It's almost like they're held to a different standard and they have a better standard. If you're an illegal immigrant, it's almost like then you could complain about getting your kids taken away. But if you're just a regular criminal, it's not a big deal.
That's true. Yes. If I committed the crime, they would have no objection to separating me from my kids. If I had any little kids around me anymore, I'm kind of old. But my point is the argument makes no sense, and the argument wasn't an issue until Donald Trump became president. We have an immigration policy. The left, this is just the resistance movement. The left wants to take him down, and immigration was his platform, his number one platform. So they'll do anything to stop this. The left-wing Democrats, the progressive Democrats, have adopted a policy like Hitler of scorched earth. If we can't win, if we can't get rid of Trump, we'll destroy this whole country in the process.
Well, hey, I agree with a lot of the rhetoric being extreme, but again, Hitlerian, I think on either side is just out of bounds because it's an exaggeration.
Let me show you something. I walk with a cane now. I didn't have this cane 3 years ago. Look at this arm. See the stitches? There's not a bone in there. There's a metal pipe for about 6 inches where my radius used to be. On Memorial Day of 2015, I was in an accident in Kearney, New Jersey, and I was hit by an illegal Mexican alien. 3 of them were in the car. They were all drunk and obviously very high. They didn't get a scratch. I got crippled for life.
And that's absolutely disgusting.
And the cops didn't arrest them. The cops let them go. And afterwards I found out we have no idea where they are. They disappeared. They're probably in some other part of the country right now. But I mean, obviously, they got the leeway. If they were not...
That's a different standard than an average American citizen. I mean, hit and run, drunk driving...
That is. Well, they weren't arrested. It was like they were issued a ticket and a summons. If I hit somebody because I was drunk driving, I'd be behind bars. I would have been in jail. They trusted them to show up to court.
No, and that's what they don't do with the people at the border, and that's why they had to detain some of the children separate from the parents. I wanted to ask before I go, do you have anything else that you want to say?
Yes, President Trump, God bless you. There's a lot of us behind you. I know you got an uphill battle, but I want to say something to the people watching this. If you support Donald Trump, and I did a lot of work for his campaign as a volunteer, a lot. We got to do something about the 2018 election, because if we lose Congress, his hands will be tied. If you believe in Donald Trump, get out there and start working for the people who are running for Congress, who support his causes in your area or even other areas. Do something. We have to win.